Almost nobody gets lost all at once. I learned that the hard way. It was my first solo backpacking trip in the Adirondacks. Back before smartphones, all I had was a map I didn't really know how to use. Somewhere along the way, I made a wrong turn and didn't catch it for an hour. I only figured it out when I noticed the trail I was on was totally flat and I should have been climbing. I made it to camp that night as light was fading, but barely. I'm Sean Flynn. I'm a licensed guide in New Hampshire and Maine, and today I'll give you a handful of habits that make getting lost almost impossible. Not focusing on expensive gear or GPS, just how you pay attention. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about what getting lost actually is. There's a researcher named Ken Hill, a psychologist at St. Mary's University in Nova Scotia. He spent his career studying how people get lost and what they do next. He's probably the foremost authority on it. And his definition of being lost has two parts. One, you don't know where you are. And two, you have no way to reorient yourself. Both have to be true. You step off the trail, but you know how to get back? You're not lost. You're just off trail. It's when you don't know your location and you've got no way to fix that you're in trouble. Hang on to those two parts because everything today is built around them. Most of what I'll show you keeps you from losing track of where you are in the first place. The rest makes sure that if you do, you always have a way to reorient. So how do people end up getting lost? Almost always it's the same thing. We stop paying attention. We follow the person in front of us. We assume the trail is obvious. We're thinking about lunch or work or the climb ahead, and we stop tracking where we are. That handles the first part of Hill's definition. And if we never built a system to fall back on, the second part is waiting for us too. Here's the way I want you to think about it. Getting lost is a risk, and like any risk, we get to lower it. We lower it through our preparation, through our planning, and through the decisions we make in the field. The habits I'm about to show you are exactly that. Each one closes one of those two gaps. Habit 1, know your route before you leave the house. Here's the thing, you can't notice you're off route if you never knew the route in the first place. So before a hike, look at the map at home. The goal is to build a picture in your head. Where's the big ridge? Where's the stream run? Where are the trail junctions? And which way is downhill to a road or a trail if everything goes sideways? Psychologists call this a mental map. The hikers who don't get lost have one. The hikers who do get lost are walking blind, just following whatever's in front of them. You don't need to memorize every contour line. You need the big shapes, the handful of features you'll bump into along the way. That's the frame you'll hang everything else on, and it's the cheapest insurance there is. 10 minutes at the kitchen table before you go. Habit 2, stay located. This is the big one. Remember the first part of Hill's definition. Lost starts when you can't tell where you are. So the whole game is never letting that happen. Keeping track as you walk. The way we do that is simple. Every so often, we tie what we see to a point on the map. I just crossed a stream, so I'm here. The trail just bent left and started to climb, so I'm here. We're constantly answering one question. Where am I right now? Your phone is great for this, by the way. A quick check on your GPS app to confirm your spot is one of the easiest ways to stay located. I'm not anti-phone. Use it. The point isn't the tool. The point is that you're actively tracking your position instead of zoning out. This skill has a name, terrain association, and it's deep enough that it's got its own video coming. But the habit is what matters here. Stay located. Keep asking, where am I? Habit 3, catch the drift early. Even when we're paying attention, we can wander. So good navigators set up guardrails. Two ideas here, handrails and backstops. A handrail is a feature you follow, a stream, a ridge, a power line, a trail. As long as it's beside you, you know roughly where you are. You're holding the rail. A backstop is a feature that tells you if you've gone too far. Say you know there's a road that runs east-west below you. If you hit that road, you know you've overshot. It's a backstop. It catches you before the drift becomes a real problem. So when you study your map, don't just look at your route, look at what's around it. What can I follow? What will catch me if I drift? That's how you stay bounded even when your attention slips. Habit 4, and this one is what saves people. Trust your system, not your gut. Here's what happens. You hit a moment of doubt. The trail forks and you're not sure. And a voice in your head says, it's probably this way. That voice feels certain. Follow it, and that's where people get into real trouble. Because here's what research shows. When we start to feel lost, our stress goes up. And under that stress, the mind starts playing tricks. It grabs a familiar looking feature and tells us we've been here before. We haven't. Our brain is manufacturing landmarks to make us feel oriented. And that false confidence walks us deeper into the woods. So when doubt hits, we do the opposite of what the gut wants. We stop. We pull out our map and compass. We trust the tools over the feeling. This is also where the second part of Hill's definition comes in. Having a way to reorient. Think about navigation as a system. If your only tool is your phone, you've got a single point of failure. The phone dies, and now the likelihood of getting lost just jumped, and the severity along with it. Add a map and a compass to your kit, and you've lowered both of these. That's not me telling you that the phone's bad. It's me telling you not to bet everything on one thing that needs batteries. I made a whole video about how to actually use a compass on the trail, and I'll link it below. Now, what if you do all this and you still end up getting turned around? It happens to everyone eventually. The single most important thing is this. The moment you realize you don't know where you are, stop walking. I know that's hard. Every instinct says, keep moving, push on, you'll figure it out. That instinct is exactly what turns a small problem into a big one. There's a lot more of what to do next, and that's a whole video on its own. It's coming. But if you remember one thing from today, make it this. When you're lost, stop walking. So let's pull it all together. Know your route before you go. Stay located as you walk. Set up handrails and backstops to catch your drift. And when doubt hits, trust your tools, not your gut. Notice what all four have in common. They're not about gear, they're about awareness. Getting lost is a skill problem, and staying found is a skill we build. And I don't want to scare you off. Quite the opposite. The woods are not out to get you. Across thousands of search and rescue cases, the vast majority of lost people are found and found alive, and most of them within a few hours. A little skill goes a long way. That hour in the Adirondacks, for me, was too close. But it taught me that staying found isn't luck. It's a handful of habits you build before you need them. Put in that work, and you don't spend your hikes hoping you're on the right trail. You know you are. Out here, we need two things together: confidence and humility. It takes humility to admit we can get lost and to do the honest work of preparing for it. And that work is exactly what earns you the confidence to go further and enjoy it more. If you want the complete navigation system, how it all fits together, plus terrain association, route planning, and decision making, it's all inside the Prepared Hiker system. Now practice these habits on your next easy hike when the stakes are low. Build them before you need them, and I'll see you in the woods.